The tongue is back, and today I got a beer review for you. We're going to be looking at Thunder American Pale Ale by Jackalope Brewing Company. Jackalope happens to be one of my favorite breweries out of Nashville, and I've had this beer several times before, but this is my first time doing an official review on it. They started in 2011, and unfortunately, this is the only beer that I know of that they can or bottle. They put they only put their beers in cans, and this is the only one that I know of that they use in cans. It's a pretty small. I mean, it's a very small brewery. They probably started putting their beers in cans about a year or two ago, or at least this one. I wish they'd do some of their other ones because they have some really good beer. It is 5.5% alcohol. It's, let's see, established 2011, and it says drink legendary. That's kind of what their motto is, I guess. Says rough and tough was Thunder Ann. Took Davy Crockett as her man. She wrestled bears and lassoed snakes, baked alligators into cakes. Her legend lives inside this brew with water, hops, and barley too. So drink it up and drink it well, like Thunder Ann, go give 'em hell. Hey, that's kind of cool. And then at the bottom it says, hey you, please recycle. And I will put a link in the description for their brewery, Jackalope, for the website anyway, it's jackalopebrew.com. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this out into the glass. It is an American Pale Ale, which is similar to an India Pale Ale, except for they typically are not as strong on the hops. They're not as hop heavy as IPAs. A little bit more malty. But they should definitely have a hop aroma, a hop presence to it. It's got a one finger, slightly off-white head to it. It's got a nice kind of amber color. It's slightly hazy. Not really. It's a little more clear, filtered. Got a nice amber color to it. Little bits of carbonation. Not a whole lot of carbonation in this one. Let's get the aroma on this. Yeah, definitely getting the hops. Very kind of citrusy and slightly fruity on the hops. Get a little bit of the kind of like a caramel malt in there. Smells kind of sweet from the malts and from the from the hops. Get a little bit of breadiness in there too. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, that is good. Like I said, I've had this before, but this one really is quite a good beer. You get, excuse me, you get a lot of caramel malts in this one on the palate. It's very malty. It definitely is a very caramel malt to it. You get a citrusy nose to it, a little bit of a citrusy note to it from the hops. But the hops aren't real biting like an IPA. They're more, it's more of a subtleness to the hops. into the bitterness. It's not like a super bitter beer, which is great, because if you're somebody who doesn't really like, excuse me, if you're somebody that doesn't really like IPAs because they're too bitter, they're too hoppy, what have you, you can try an American Pale Ale, or most American breweries, it would just be considered their Pale Ale, like a Sierra Nevada Pale, Stone Pale Ale. There's a whole bunch of other ones out there, and obviously you got Thunder and American Pale Ale, yeah, they're typically they're just not as hoppy, and it's easier. They're a lot easier to drink, and typically a lower alcohol content than your standard IPAs. This is a good one to get into if you want to get into the hoppier beers, but you don't know if you're going to like the hoppier beers. Drink something like this, and it will, you'll kind of get used to the hoppiness of this one, and then you can kind of graduate it from there. Or you could just go straight into IPAs, like I did. But yeah, let me go ahead and get another drink of this. Yeah, I like it. It's not too carbonated. It's not, it's got a nice kind of velvety, almost kind of mouthfeel. It's not like super thick, but it's also not like watery. It's kind of in that right balance of thickness and mouthfeel for the beer. Really, really good beer. If you haven't checked out Jackalope's Brewery, go out there and check them out. They have a lot of delicious beer out there. So anyways, I guess I would probably give this one about an 8 out of 10 on this one. It's pretty dang good. It's one that I would check out, and definitely drink more local beer. There's lots of local beer here in Nashville and all over the place. So definitely go out and try your local beer. It's going to be fresher. It's going to taste better. So go ahead, drink your local beer. Don't forget to try some Thunder and American Pale Ale. And I will see you in the next video.